The information in this video is provided for informational and educational purposes only. Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the Morale Monologue. My name is Michael Morale. Today I want to talk to you about pharmaceutical companies. I think if you were to think back probably 5 or 6 years ago, many of us had a negative taste in our mouth with regards to big pharma. We had heard through the press and the media that pharmaceutical companies were nothing more than these evil monsters only interested in making money. And I think a lot of us maybe felt this way because that's the only information that we had heard. But if you think back 5 or 6 years ago, or whenever Spinraza was developed back in December of 2016, we started getting a different viewpoint and hearing some of the good regarding pharmaceutical companies. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. But before I do that, please take a moment and listen to a word from our sponsor, and then I'll come back and I'll give you my viewpoints. Thank you.
This vlog is made possible by a sponsorship from Genentech. Are you living with SMA, or are you a caregiver for someone who is? A new treatment has just been FDA approved based on studies of different types of people living with SMA. Genentech extends a special thanks to all of the individuals, families, and healthcare providers who participated in the studies that led to making this new treatment option a reality. To learn more about this new treatment, visit approvedforsma.com.
Okay, so regarding pharmaceutical companies, I think if you were to think back 5 or 6 years ago, many of us, and I would say there were a lot of us, that had negative viewpoints toward pharmaceutical companies. We were always told by the media that pharmaceutical companies were these evil monsters that were only interested in one thing and one thing only. They were only interested in money. Well, think about what pharmaceutical companies are. They're not a nonprofit. They are a for-profit type of business. Okay, they're in business to make money. The average cost for a pharmaceutical company to develop a new drug or a new treatment, go through all the clinical trials and all the testing, and to finally get it approved by the FDA, the majority of these pharmaceutical companies spend at least $1 billion, if not more, to get their treatments and their drugs passed through the FDA. $1 billion is a lot of money. And so, yes, they are out to make a profit. That's the nature of the beast. That's what organizations do to survive. They have to pay their employees. They have to pay the doctors that are going through all these clinical trials. There's a lot of cost associated with developing new drugs and new treatments. Okay? Let's take Spinraza as a prime example. Whenever I found out back in December of 2016 that the FDA approved Spinraza from Biogen, I started doing research. And the first thing that came across on my screen was how bad Biogen Pharmaceuticals was because of the cost of their treatment. Instead of focusing on the good, instead of focusing on how positive Spinraza was going to be for those of us with SMA, the only thing I heard about were the negatives. And I started doing a lot of research and trying to find out, well, how do these drug companies, how do these pharmaceutical companies price their drugs? Well, it's based on the number of people that are probably going to be qualified to take that individual treatment. Let's take multiple sclerosis as an example. There's many more people with multiple sclerosis than there are of those of us with SMA. So by having a larger number of people that are going to be taking the treatment or the drug that the pharmaceutical company developed, they can price it lower. Okay? Their main goal, the pharmaceutical company's main goal first, is to regain the money that they spent getting all of this passed through the FDA. So I started looking at Spinraza, and SMA is considered an orphan disease. And what an orphan disease basically means is that there's not as many of us with SMA as there are those with multiple sclerosis and some of these other diseases. And I really never understood the term rare disease to begin with. I don't think multiple sclerosis is rare by any circumstance, just like I think SMA is not rare, okay? But anyway, these pharmaceutical companies are trying to make a profit just like every other business, and that's how they price their drugs. So there's a lot of negative talk out there about these other pharmaceutical companies now, like Avexis, whenever they developed Zolgensma. We're looking at all of these other companies such as Scholar Rock. We don't know what SRK 015 is going to be priced at, but Evrysdi is priced at, what is it, $340,000 a year, which is still about $35,000 less than Spinraza. And again, the only thing that I hear about are the negatives. And I think we need to change our minds regarding pharmaceutical companies. Okay? They do a lot of work. It takes a long time to develop these treatments. So if you have a negative viewpoint toward pharmaceutical companies, think about how they go about creating these drugs and these treatments. And I think if you really do a lot of research and find out how long it takes them to do this and the amount of work that's involved in creating a new treatment and bringing it to those who need it, I'm hoping that it'll change your mind. It did me. Now, there was a case back, and it was around 1996, around 2016, when a gentleman purchased a pharmaceutical company. He already owned a pharmaceutical company, but he purchased another one because this pharmaceutical company had exclusive rights to a drug that they had developed for AIDS. So when he bought this other pharmaceutical company, he knew that no other pharmaceutical company could come in for a certain number of years and create a generic for that particular treatment. And what he did was he took that treatment and raised the price exponentially to where it was basically unaffordable. Nobody could afford to buy the pills that they needed for AIDS. And he was brought before, I think, a Senate subcommittee or a House subcommittee. And his viewpoint was, I'm sorry, I'm in business to make money. So yes, there are some bad apples out there. There are people that will take advantage of this, but that's few and far between, because the majority of the pharmaceutical companies that I've dealt with have been very gracious with not only pricing their treatments out to us, but also allowing us to take it. The first thing that Biogen Pharmaceutical said was that nobody would be denied treatment based on their inability to pay for it. And that was proven as a fact to me. My insurance company turned me down twice, and I didn't know if I was going to be able to get on Spinraza or not. And then my family access manager called me one day and said, look, we noticed that you've been turned down twice by your insurance company, so we're going to put you on our free drug program so that you can get started on this treatment. And I was on Biogen's free drug program for probably the first 2 years until my insurance company finally agreed to pay for it. So Biogen proved to me that they were stepping up and doing what was right. And a lot of people said, wow, pharmaceutical company actually did what they said they were going to do. And I think you're finding that more and more because pharmaceutical companies see that their treatments are going to benefit us. So yes, they're in business to make money, but think about what their treatments do for us, okay? I don't blame them for wanting to make money off of their product that they developed. It's just like any other business, okay? You got to make money to survive in this world. And whether we like it or not, that's just the facts of life. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, please do me a favor and give me a thumbs up, and also subscribe to the SMA News Today YouTube channel. We would greatly appreciate it. Remember, if you do enjoy what I say, make sure that you click on the bell icon. That way, anytime that we develop a new video, you'll be notified. We at SMA News Today hope all of you have had a fantastic day. Do me a favor this upcoming week, do something for yourself that's going to make you a better person. Until next time, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye.